Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. And for all my continued followers, I want to say thank you. And this is an opinion-based video channel where I try to open your eyes and ears up to some of the travails and tribulations that take place throughout our cities, our states, our country, and sometimes around the world. And typically, I do more serious commentary on this particular video channel, but every once in a while I will pivot and I'll talk about sports, something that I love to watch, played as a kid in high school and college, and I want to talk about the NBA Finals. Game one was yesterday. We got the Indiana Pacers against the Oklahoma Thunder. And I think the reason for doing this particular video or commentary on the NBA Finals is that probably the NBA as an organization and as a business probably did not want either one of these mid-major markets to be in the finals. Of course, I'm sure the odds makers in Vegas, the NBA as an organization, was looking for some of the bigger markets like, of course, the Boston Celtics, the New York Knicks, the Los Angeles Lakers, and of course, the Golden State Warriors and or Dallas Mavericks. But guess what? We have two mid-major, Midwestern teams. Neither one of them are from either coast, the East or West Coast. Right here in Middle America, in Indiana and in Oklahoma. And I think this is one of the best things for the NBA. You're talking about two teams that are very skilled, that play team basketball. They're not living and dying by the three-pointer. They are evenly matched as a team. I also believe that they're playing old school fundamental basketball. They kind of remind me of the late 80s and early 90s kinds of play as each team and organization. Of course, we know that SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, is the MVP of the league this year, averaging about 32 points a game. However, the rest of that team, they've got 7 or 8 dogs on that team, and they play very well together. The one thing I like about SGA, he's not a ball hog. He is a mid-range master. They call it shooting the mini. I love that neither one of these teams they're not just junking up three-pointers. They are showing you real good skill basketball. And I think that for young people, this is a great time to watch the NBA. They're playing great defense. They're playing great individual defense, great team defense, rebounding, passing the ball, moving the ball around, not living and dying by the three-point line. It has been great to see both of these teams enter the playoffs, work their way to the Eastern and Western Conference Finals, and now you have these two mid-majors, so to speak, what you would call in college, as opposed to a blue chip Duke of North Carolina, aka Lakers, Boston Celtics. You have two mid-major type of organizations and teams that are here in the finals, and they're playing team basketball. Basketball is a team sport. It's not an individual sport. And even though SGA is averaged over 30 points a game, he still spreads that ball around. I think he is a mid-range guy. It is amazing in today's time that ever since Steph Curry started exploding on the scene, and it took him a number of years with shooting lots of threes and making them, of course, and shooting them even deeper and deeper, that the game has transcended into that. Nobody wants to shoot a layup. Nobody definitely does not want to shoot a 12-footer or a 16-foot shot. shooting a shot at the free throw line. And so as a result of that, just like people wanted to be like Mike in the 80s and 90s, now these young folks want to be like Steph Curry. But that's a lazy form of basketball, and it's definitely not team oriented. There's one or two players that it's that skilled to do what Steph Curry is doing. The rest of the players, even in the NBA, are trying to emulate Steph Curry, but they're not getting the full package, and they don't have the full capability to do what Steph is doing. So you're seeing a lot of players in the NBA, the highest level of basketball, just junking up shots, missing them. Their percentages are extremely low. It's a lazy form of basketball. You have to remember, for Michael Jordan to lead the league 10 years in a row in scoring, that was a guy that shot 90% of his scoring, did 90% of his scoring in the mid-range. A few of them were dunks, but the majority of his baskets were within 20 feet of the basket. Outside of hitting a baseball, I think from a physics, a math standpoint, an engineering standpoint, hitting a baseball is the hardest thing to do. But I think the second hardest thing to do is to take that orange basketball 30 feet from the basket and try to push it or shoot it into that centrifugal circular rim and make it go in. It looks easy, but it is not. It is a very, very tough skill. I would associate or relegate or relate shooting a 30-foot NBA three-pointer and having it go in to a professional golfer making a 20-foot putt. I think it's very similar. You're talking about a white ball, orange basketball. You're talking about two centrifugal holes that you have to place that ball in, and that takes a lot of skill, a lot of development, a lot of hand and eye coordination, and it's not an easy thing to do. It is much easier from a statistical, mathematical standpoint to make a shot 2 feet from the basket, 6 feet from the basket, 12 feet from the basket, than 30 feet. And these two teams are displaying old school basketball. And I'm not saying that because I'm an old school guy, but to see this kind of defensive prowess, offensive prowess, passing the ball, rebounding the ball at a great skill set, great skill level. I think everybody should take a look at this. I think it's going to put butts in the seat, even butts on the couch, and they will be watching this NBA Finals. That game yesterday was a fantastic game. You got to remember, Oklahoma City was winning the game for the entire 47 minutes. And it got down to the last few seconds of the game as Indiana was coming back. It's kind of like the tortoise and the hare. Oklahoma City was the hare, shot out of the gate, playing at home. They got home court advantage, and they were leading by 14 or 15 points throughout that entire game. And of course, these games are not a 100-yard dash. They are a marathon, just like life is. And if you don't play until that final whistle is blown at the 48-minute mark, things could change. And what happened? Tyrese Halliburton for the Indiana Pacers came up with another big shot. He's almost the reincarnation of Reggie Miller to a certain degree, and he is doing it. He did it in the first series. He did it against Cleveland. He did it against New York, making a last-second shot. I think he's had like 5 or 6 game-winning shots just in this series, just in this playoffs alone. It's almost like the reincarnation of Reggie Miller. He's built like Reggie Miller, a little shorter, about 6'5". I think Reggie Miller is about 6'7", but he could almost be Reggie Miller's stepson or son to a certain degree. But let's go back into who these two players are, and sometimes how these NBA analysts and these analytics don't always get it right. You got to remember SGA Shea Gilgis Alexander. I think he played 1 year at Kentucky. He's from Canada. He's 6'6". He's got Michael Jordan size. He's 26 years old. But you got to remember, he went in the 2018 draft. He was the number 11 pick. 10 players went before him. And he went to the Lakers first. He played 1 year for the Los Angeles Lakers. So what did the analytics and the analysts miss out on? One, he drops to number 11. Still a lottery pick, but there were 10 people ahead of him. And then number 2, he goes to the Clippers, and he only stays there 1 year. And then he goes to Oklahoma City, and Pandora's box opens up for him. And he is a special player. I think he's a mid-range god. I think young folks should watch how he plays. He's smooth. He is relaxed. He's not in a rush. And most of his shots are mid-range shots. He is the very antithetical of a Steph Curry. They're totally different. And he's leading the league in scoring. And as I was saying before with Michael Jordan, who led the league 10 years in a row, 90% of his shots were mid-range. Very few of them were dunks, and very few of them were three-pointers. And this guy is supposed to be considered the GOAT, who I think he is, Michael Jordan. These young folks developing this whole thing of just shooting threes all the time due to Steph Curry, you got to go back in your history books. History has a tendency to repeat itself. Where did Kobe Bryant make most of his points? For the young kids that love Kobe and don't remember Michael, Kobe Bryant modeled his entire game after Michael Jordan, and most of his shots were mid-range. You take the guy from the Dallas Mavericks, Dirk Nowitzki. He was a 7-footer. Luka Doncic gets compared to Dirk many times. They're both foreign players from Europe, and one's 6'9", one's 7 foot. But what is the difference? Dirk averaged 28, 29, 30, 27 points a game, played 20 years in the NBA, but most of Dirk's shots were mid-range. What is the difference? Luka shoots a lot of threes, and they talk about his weight being an issue. I think shooting multiple, running from top of the key, running from the three-point line to the three-point line is a lot easier and a lot lazier than running baseline to baseline. So those things that Michael Jordan and Kobe did in the mid-range, jumping, bagging people down, rebounding, that takes a lot more out of your body than you facing up and just jacking a three-pointer. And I think Dirk overall was a better player than Luka. I think there's some things that Luka Doncic needs to work on, and getting to the basket more consistently, not shooting so many threes, losing some weight, playing better defense, going back to the fundamentals of basketball are very important. But remember, SGA went 11th in the 2018 draft. Now, what about Tyrese Halliburton? So you got SGA as the face of the Oklahoma City Thunder, and you have Tyrese Halliburton as the face of the Indiana Pacers. And remember, Tyrese was on the Olympic team with Jason Tatum last year in the 2024 Olympics. And a lot of people criticized and said he was not deserving to be on the Olympic team. And boy, is he showing his odds makers up. He is showing them up for sure that he deserved to be an Olympian, and he deserves to be in the finals. Well, who is Tyrese Halliburton? Well, he's 25 years old. Remember, SGA is 26. These guys are the same age, same size. Tyrese Halliburton is 6'5", SGA is 6'6". Halliburton went to Iowa State for 2 years, from 2018 to 2020. He was the 12th overall pick. Now remember, SGA was number 11, and Tyrese Halliburton was the 12th pick. So 11 players went before him. And he also did not get drafted by the Indiana Pacers. He got drafted by the New Orleans Hornets, and then his rights got sent to the Sacramento Kings. So he played 2 years with the Sacramento Kings, and then they shipped him out and he ended up in Indiana. What did the Sacramento Kings miss out on? What did they lack to see in Tyrese Halliburton? Where were the analytics there? Because evidently the LA Clippers made a mistake letting SGA go after 1 year, and the Sacramento Kings let Tyrese Halliburton go after 2 years. And look at what both of these guys are doing. So for young people, remember, life is a marathon. It's not a 100-yard dash. And in life, you should want to be the tortoise and not the hare. Life is a continuum of learning. The day you stop learning is the day you start dying. Being strong and motivated and going on a continuum up that road and not stopping mid-road or quitting before you get to the top of the mountain, and then being able to stay on the top of the mountain takes a lot of work and determination, and you have to keep the outside noise away from you. The game last night ended up being, the Pacers ended up winning 111 to 110. Halliburton had 14 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists. SGA had 38 points, 3 assists, and 5 rebounds. So they're playing basketball. They're playing really, really good basketball, and this is a great opportunity. I think this series is even. I think even though neither one of these teams are in a big market, I think actually the numbers are going to go up. People are going to be talking about every one of these games are going to be close. They are a mirror image of each other. And Tyrese is making big shots at the end of games. He's not putting up the same kind of numbers that SGA is putting up. But SGA has been consistent, averaging over 30 points every game, getting his players involved. Of course, Tyrese Halliburton is getting other folks involved. Neither one of them are being ball hogs. Both of them are being double teamed, and they know when to let the ball go and send it to another player. And then those other players are doing what they're supposed to do. This is going to be a great, great series. This reminds me of Detroit and the Chicago Bulls, or Detroit and Boston back in the late 80s. This is going to be one of those series that's going to be very rare, and it's going to be close. I think in the low 100s, high 90s. I don't think you're going to have a game in the 140s and 130s. These guys are playing defense, and we all wish as fans that they would do a little bit more of that during the regular season. And I know it's a long season, 82 games, but this is going to be a great series. These two teams mirror each other. Their stars are representing and holding up their reputation in Tyrese Halliburton and in SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Like I said, 165, 166. One's 26 years old, one's 25 years old. One went as the 11th pick, SGA, in 2018 to the Clippers. And of course, Tyrese Halliburton went 12th in the 2020 draft. Very, very similar parallels in both of these players. This is going to be a great series. I do not know who's going to win, but I'm loving this about the NBA. The viewership has been down since Michael Jordan left the NBA, down like 50%. But this is going to put a lot of butts in seats, on couches and in the arenas and on cable television to watch this series. This is going to be a gem. This is a rare one, and I think both teams and both the stars and organizations are going to hold up and put a quality product on the court and on television for us to view and enjoy. Tell me what you think about this Indiana Pacers versus the Oklahoma City's NBA 2025 NBA Finals. It's going to be a doozy.